On this episode of Riff and Rock Music Talk, Alex and Ryan are joined by Job Grob to review some albums with guitars, bassists, and drums. Real instruments. America. Yeah, truck, pickup, hamburger, yeah, talk, whiskey, talk, riff.
98 bottles of beer on the wall. 97 bottles of beer on the wall.
That might take too long.
And so on.
Skip a few. 99, 100. Wait. Well, I'm confused.
It's okay. I'm wearing headphones.
Okay. But as a fashion accessory. Yes. I actually had heard a story. There was some girl was at a store. Someone was telling me this, and then they were. I think it's like someone who worked at like another Best Buy or something. And this girl was like looking to buy Beats headphones, and he's like, you can get these Sennheisers for significantly less, and they're just as good because Beats by Dre are not really that good of headphones. They're just really expensive. She goes, no, I'm not gonna plug them in. They're just a fashion accessory.
I can see it, but can you describe how angry you are?
It reminds me, there's a guy at the gym that he brings two sets of headphones. One set for weights, one set for cardio.
Why? No, that makes sense. They're not the same headphones, are they?
No, but that would be too good.
Yeah, it makes sense for weights. You got one.
No, the weights, he's got the big ones. The cardio, he's got the buds.
That makes sense.
I can't imagine running with these on.
Generate more heat. You'll burn more. You'll shed more face weight.
But you're
just like the sauna championships.
Yeah,
that's true. Speaking of which, let me bring up some pictures of the sauna championships.
Please don't. Please. I've seen that scene in RoboCop where the guy gets toxic waste dumped on him. I have a pretty good imagination of what it looked like.
Imagine if a man has 2 feet on one leg, but one is dead, the other one is a sexual foot.
Alex, no special effects.
Yeah. Oh my god. That was like when I had a roommate in college who he would get drunk and then basically he'd tell war stories about the pornography he would look up online. And also something called the Pain Olympics, which I never wanted to look at.
Don't watch the Pain Olympics.
But he'd be like, I see things, man.
They paid a man $1 million to cut off his wiener, and he did it.
Did he get sewed back on?
No, he shot himself later that day.
I mean, I know there's that guy in Japan.
He snipped it off. He put a rubber band on it.
But then why do you take the money?
This is the Pain Olympics guy.
What?
I know there's that guy in Japan who he had like a private dinner where he cooked up his penis and served it to people. That was last year. Most people said it wasn't very tasty.
It was a little flaccid.
It was kind of soft and chewy.
Oh, how is it?
So, how's my penis?
I don't know. I think I'm going to go to bed. I'm not in the mood. I have a headache.
Yeah, it's
It's like the stuff they put on the cinema.
You mean the icky ooey gooey jism? Oh my god.
The very same.
Yes.
Oh god. I'm climaxing as we speak.
And while Ryan climaxes, just so you're aware, you are listening to Riff and Rock
Music Talk!
So, welcome everyone. We have an exciting episode where we have a guest with us.
Whoa. I think we should introduce ourselves before we introduce...
People know who we are. People know who we are.
Smooth baritone bass that you're listening to a few seconds ago is none other than Alex Gomery.
And the slightly higher baritone, is that, I don't know, are you a tenor maybe?
I'm a little bit of a tenor, yes.
Yes. That is the ever charming and whimsical Ryan Christoph Bands.
Oh, thank you.
Cole.
Thank you very much. Yes.
Then where we have a guest with us tonight, John, who knows things.
Yeah, he's my friend John.
Well,
He's my friend John too.
Thank you for having me.
So we got a special episode today. We've been reviewing a lot of pop music lately, a lot of synthesizers and stuff. So we decided we're gonna go back to some roots.
Yeah, get back to our roots.
Some guitars, some bassists,
Some Questlove.
some men that are now women. What?
What?
That is right. Let's jump right in. The first album we listened to was Transgender Dysphoria Blues by Against Me.
Against me?
Against Me.
Oh.
Alex had it right.
It's not a question, it's a declaration.
That's true. Mistake.
Against Me is a, I guess, punk pop. Used to be punk band, now more of a punk pop band from, I think, Gainesville, Florida. I have a difficult relationship with them, which I know John does as well, as he's nodding and giving me a face. Their earlier work, very raw sounding, sounded like a man with a broken acoustic guitar and some people hitting buckets. So it had a very interesting punk aesthetic. In an era, and I think this was like in the late 90s, early 2000s, like when that glossy punk image was big. You had your Offspring was making it big, Green Day, your Blink-182, Sum 41s, Lucky Boys, Confusion,
the Lawrence Arms.
Lawrence Arms were never that glossy.
They're pretty glossy.
But basically, your pretty person punk bands going to Hot Topic, buy an Element skateboard, and Against Me comes out and it's like, you know what? We're gonna play some fucking broke ass instruments. And this guy's gonna scream endless stuff that we can't comprehend. And they produced, I mean, John, you would agree, some brilliant albums.
Yeah. Eternal Cowboy, Reinventing Axl Rose, great, fantastic albums. It's after that it gets a bit murky.
And at that point, I think what happened, and I'm gonna take a guess, is their record label started handing them huge sacks of cash, and went, "You want to be great? You had a little bit more of a wider market appeal."
I also think it could be attributed to the constant changes in the lineup.
Were there constant changes in the lineup?
Oh, on Wikipedia, there's an entire bar graph, timeline, if you will, of of the people in the band. Oh my god! So the main person, actually, let's just say the only person in the band is Laura Jane Grace.
At that point, was Tom Gable.
Yes.
Is that as bad? What was that one band we were looking at from the 60s or 70s that had like over 100 members rotate through it?
Blood, Sweat, and Tears.
Blood, Sweat, and Tears. Like I think somewhere between 80 and 90 people have gone through that band.
Yeah.
Not that bad, I'm assuming.
No, only about 20.
Which is a lot for a punk band.
Yes. But apparently the first few albums, there was pretty much just her and one or two other people that helped out with the early stuff. So that's probably why it sounded so gritty. And now with this new album, the lineup is 4 people, nice core group. And it sounds not as gritty, not as angsty, but still pretty fucking angsty.
Yeah, that was the thing that happened. So after Eternal Cowboy, that was kind of like the cutoff album for original tier Against Me. There's even like the stuff before then. There was a couple EPs that were really, that were a little even more raw. But then you got to Searching for Formal Clarity. It starts getting cleaner and glossier. You kind of wonder, okay, maybe it's just a fluke. Then you got to New Wave. And
they had a New Wave?
We don't talk about their New Wave.
Oh, God.
It was their New Wave. That was a rough album. And then I just kind of ignored them. And then last year, 2 years ago, Tom Gable announced that he was transgender, and now he is Laura Jane Grace, and so now they've released Transgender Dysphoria Blues, an appropriate title. So
inappropriate subject matter.
Yes. So Ryan, what did you think of Against Me's Transgender Dysphoria Blues?
Yeah. So as an album, as a musical album, and it's pretty good. The band sounds tight. The music is very, very well composed, and you can feel that there's a lot of pain and a lot of anger and a lot of emotions that are being presented through the music, and it's very powerful.
It has a very genuine feel to it. I know we've kind of made fun of reviewers that have that, like, well, they didn't sound genuine kind of thing, but no, there sounds like a sort of a genuine connection to the subject matter, especially the first couple songs, which are very about this process for Laura Jane. And it's the first time in a while I'm like, okay, it seems like the song material is relatable to the singer. It's very personal. So I liked it. I actually enjoyed it a lot too, considering I really disliked the last couple releases because I thought they were so disconnected from what they're doing. Not perfect, but there were some really genuinely high quality songs on there.
Yes, one of my favorite songs on the album was the titular song, Transgender Dysphoria Blues, which is also the longest album, or longest song on the album.
By a whopping 3 seconds.
No, that's not fair. It's 4 seconds.
My version, it's 3.
Oh,
It's good.
it's pretty. It speaks volumes.
Yes.
Considering we listened to about 20 seconds of a 3-minute song.
But the follow-up, True Trans, Soul Rebel, nice poppy song. I mean, it seems, I don't know, something about like the way that, because obviously Tom, now Laura, has been having hormone therapy. As you can tell, Tom's voice in the earlier albums sounded like he was eating a bottle of Jack Daniels while singing.
And you can still kind of hear it.
But it's definitely, the voice is a little bit more, is a little higher pitched. The hormones changing her voice. It seems a little more fitting with the poppiness, where before it was, again, the Jack Daniels voice with, I mean, something that sounded like a Green Day album. It was a weird dichotomy and it didn't fit. Here it works a lot better. True Trans Soul Rebel. Good poppy song, voice matches, good radio single. Whether it'll end up being one, I don't know.
It should.
It should.
It's a very good song. In fact, I don't remember any bad songs from this album. Maybe because it's too short?
It's a quick album, which I think works to its strength. I think with most punk albums, aside from one or two exceptions, Husker Du's Zen Arcade, which benefits from being really long.
Really long.
I think the last track is like 15 minutes, and it's just like an instrumental punk jam, but it works. Most punk albums benefit from being very short and sweet, since most of the songs sound exactly like the one before it.
I would have said similar, but that's me.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not the biggest punk fan, so maybe I'm just not appreciating the subtle differences between the tracks.
Yeah. And what did you think, John?
I have not had time with this album, unfortunately.
Oh, so he likes it.
I'm very intrigued to listen to it, though, given your positive feedback on it, especially because, like Alex, I really have not been a huge fan of The Against Me as of late. But the positive feedback definitely has gotten me an urge to listen to it and put some time in there.
They have a couple good acoustic songs, like Two Coffins, which was a welcome addition. Not everything is so poppy. It has some pretty typical Against Me shenanigans in terms of song titles, such as Obama Bin Laden as the Crucified Christ. Also, sort of Against Me fanfare, like I said.
It was a little bit like
well, I mean,
medley.
in sort of like the goofy song titles. So Obama Bin Laden as the Crucified Christ, like I said, and all one word, Fuck My Life 666.
Yeah, and actually, I like this album because it deviates from the punk format into a little bit like heavy metal.
Yeah,
like with that Osama Bin Laden. Blah 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 blah.
Obama Bin Laden.
Yeah, it's very very heavy. It's kind of like a Kid Rock song, only a little bit better.
Kid Rock's gone country now.
Yeah, before he went country, back when he was doing ba with the ba.
A cowboy.
Yeah, no, not cowboy.
Boy, cowboy, baby. Or American Badass.
Yeah, it's kind of like American Badass in that way that they both are considered rock songs.
That's the way Against Me and Kid Rock are alike. Drinking with the Jocks is kind of almost like has a thrashiness to it, very fast paced, a lot of screaming.
Definitely, and actually so that song got me thinking about like the subject matter of the entire album, and that is a person that is struggling with their identity, and it's like in that song they're hanging out with the jocks, but knowing that really deep down inside they want to be a woman.
Yeah,
which I guess is a weird song to write about, like a weird song to write, but it's...
Well, that was kind of like Unconditional Love was sort of the I think, if I remember, the subject matter was like, everyone should have love and it's a good thing. So I think for one of the first times in Against Me's career, they actually had positive songs.
Yeah. And actually, John just finished listening to a song from the album. He's just listening to the Osama Bin Laden. What did you think, John?
I thought it was very good. It definitely isn't exactly punk. It's more of a rock song. I may have been bobbing my head a little bit. I liked what I heard. Is that kind of how it speaks, like the album in general?
That song's a little different from all the others.
A little heavier than I think the majority of the material.
It was good. I really liked it.
Like True Trans is significantly poppier.
Oh my god, it's Poppy. You want to listen to it?
But anyway, Ryan, would you recommend Transgender Dysphoria Blues?
100% yes. It is a great album. I know it's not going to be nominated for a Grammy, but it should be, or at least win like an MTV Music Award.
Yeah.
Or maybe no awards at all. Maybe that will speak.
Maybe a Riffin' Rocky.
Yes, it should be nominated.
I would agree. I would recommend picking this one up. I think punkish or hardish enough for the punk fans. Mellow enough for the people who just like a good rock album.
And heavy enough for those poets and those kind hearts. And
Yeah, the lyrical content's good.
I think it's interesting how earlier we panned them for appealing to a wide audience, and now we're saying how it hits all these demographics.
Yeah, isn't it weird that you guys said that?
and I'm not gonna lie. And I mean, I don't know if this is appropriate or not. But I think like a big chunk of it is the change in her voice.
I think
it matches the song content so much better. Instead of again the guy who sounds like the son of Tom Waits. Her voice is much more fitting of this music, and it's kind of just like it comes together a lot better.
And you can still hear, the echoes of the previous vocal work that they've done. I think overall, though, the lyrical content, the reason why it's so strong is this individual is now fully confident in, maybe not fully, but is freer to express her opinions, and I think that really does come across. I think that's why you're now getting positive songs, and it's not just, I mean, granted, it was very, very much so in vogue in the early 2000s to just bash the government, but some albums, that's all they were, and here it's more just,
it's a very personal
honest. It's very,
and so it was when it's the pop music with the personal vocals, and I think matching styles is better than like all of a sudden this very rickety sounding band all of a sudden sounding pop, and you're like, that just sounds like Sellout. This, it sounds a little more cohesive, and it comes together better. I know, yeah, it is contradictory that we're like, musically it sounds pretty similar to like the last two Against Me albums, but all of a sudden we're like, yeah, it just works. It's got a widespread appeal.
You guys are assholes.
Buy this album.
All right, what's next on the agenda? On the itinerary.
So going from a song, from music to the people, to another band which is music for the people, we listened to
Bruce Springsteen.
I was trying to remember the album name.
Bruce Springsteen's High Hopes.
High Hopes. Bruce Springsteen is a popular hip-hop artist from the 80s who did great songs such as
The Humpty Hump
and Walk This Way.
or
He also did Tub Thumping.
Yes.
He ghost wrote Tub Thumping for Chumbawamba. But Bruce, obviously, everyone knows who the boss is. He had, I think for the last two albums, he's now had Tom Morello of Rage Against the Machine fame in his fold, and he's produced High Hopes.
High Hopes. I really, really, really like Bruce Springsteen, especially his works in the past few years. He is one of the few artists that in his old age has actually gotten better, because let's face it, some of his 80s and 90s music was pretty bad. Let's be real. It's pretty bad. And
What year did Born in the USA come out?
it's like 87?
Because that song
88?
is probably one of the worst songs ever written.
Yeah.
We used to play that in my apartment in college just to torture each other.
Came out in 1984.
Yeah, that was just peak. That's like Rush. Like when Rush hit the 80s, they just had a decade where they just produced shit.
Yep. And then Bruce Springsteen started getting better. Then he went country, and he's one of the few artists to actually successfully go country. And now here he is. He made a gospel album.
And you said you had a lot of opinions about High Hopes.
Yeah, most of them are great.
This album starts off with the self-titled track High Hopes, which at this point, when I listened to it, I said this was my favorite song so far of 2014.
Yeah,
was the opening track.
It is great. It's high energy. It's gospel. It's got Tom Morello.
Just out of nowhere doing a Tom Morello solo.
It's got all sorts of effects, and it is 5 minutes long, and it's great.
It doesn't feel its length though.
No, not at all.
It doesn't drag. I love Tom Morello in this album because like it's a gospel album, and then if you know Rage Against, like pick any Rage Against the Machine song, one of those wacky guitar solos.
The waka waka.
Just imagine
waka,
just
waka.
superimposed into a gospel song, and it's just like what the fuck. That was like as I mentioned, the song, the redo of Ghost of Tom Joad. It is a very. I don't remember the original Bruce Springsteen version of it.
It's pretty much the same.
Pretty much the same. And then, like, literally, he plays almost note for note the Bulls on Parade guitar solo. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, you gotta admit, it's kind of powerful, even though it is a literal cut and paste job.
He's just like. So I'm gonna do a complete reenactment of a song I recorded. Will you just do a complete reenactment of a guitar solo you did? Yeah, it seems like a good idea.
Well, I don't see why not. It sounds like a very good idea, Mr. Springsteen.
Except for the speech impediment, you almost had the Tom Morello voice.
What do you mean? I am Tom Morello. Hello, everyone. All right, I have to go now.
My planet needs me.
We got Ryan. They got your back. You're supposed to Tom Morello.
And that was our send off to Comedy Bang Bang. So on this album there are a couple of slower songs where Bruce kind of sings about country roads and hills with grass and cows licking their young because they're all covered in mud or whatever. And it's very, very well delivered. The songs are simple, but not stupid simple, like Bon Jovi when he went country, like I love eating wheat in my bowl every morning, milk is good. And then Sheryl Crow shows up and goes, yeah, eat your milk, or whatever, who cares? But Bruce Springsteen, I don't know, it's great. It's great because I think the last 10 years really wants to be like Pete Seeger, rest in peace, where he just sings songs about simple folk, but it's powerful. There's powerful themes like workers' rights and being nice to each other and hanging out with Tom Morello.
That's why it's so great. He told Chris Christie to shove it.
Yes.
Because Chris Christie loves Bruce Springsteen. Bruce is like, no, you have to get away from me. You're a shitty human being.
You, sir, are an asshole.
Correct me if I'm wrong. American Skin is a cover as well. 41 Shots. Isn't it?
Let's check.
Because I believe that isn't. I swear that was a song that was recorded by somebody else about someone that was shot by the police 41 times because they thought he had a gun and it was his wallet or something.
It's his own song that he wrote in about 2000.
How many of these songs are? Wait, how many of these are re-recordings?
It was originally, then he re-recorded it because of Trayvon Martin.
Oh, okay, because I know there was the original one because it was an event where it was a African-American individual the police shot like 41 times because they thought he had a gun and it was a wallet.
Amadou Diallo, of which Wyclef Jean also made a song about. And it's a pretty depressing song. If you want to cry, listen to that song.
I enjoyed the song, or this album. There's a couple moments that it lulls a bit, like just like Firewood is a little too schlocky for me.
Would.
Yeah, would.
As in could.
Yeah.
It's a pun.
That one wasn't great. Harry's Place as a song right after High Hopes wasn't, I think, the best placement of the song.
Yeah, that was a poor placement.
It was like
the
High Hopes
best
is
song.
so explosive and lively, and then Harry's Place like
It's the slowest song on the album.
I go to Harry's Place and Tom Morello play a solo. Simple tractors. Take it away, Tom.
Yes. What was it? Yeah, there's just a lot. Actually, you know what? Let's what other song did you like aside from High Hopes and
No, I love American Skin's a great song. I think it's a very depressing song, but I think appropriately depressing.
Yeah.
It's just kind of like, can you believe this shit happens? Because the police just shoot everybody. Basically, they are the Hunger Games.
Yes, they are.
And they're winning.
And speaking of Hunger Games, Bruce Springsteen also made a song called Hunter of Invisible Game, which is a tribute to the Hunger Games.
Is it really?
Books. I don't know. Maybe.
You almost convinced me of that.
Let's take a listen and double check. Oh, on second thought, I don't think it has anything to do with the Hunger Games books.
There's actually the other song I really liked was the last song, "Dream Baby Dream." Had a good ending to it.
Yeah, it was very
Good album closer. Overall, good album. As you know, Bruce Springsteen is generally not in my wheelhouse of stuff I love. I listened to Born to Run and I was like, it's okay. Because I'm a heathen and I hate America, and therefore that's why, well, whatever.
Because
But-
you were born to run, and
Yeah.
you can't accept things that you can't run from.
And these colors don't run.
Wait a minute.
And
How can you be what? Wait. Oh my god. Oh, whoa. I need to sit down.
yeah, but so most people don't realize they like Bruce Springsteen until they actually start listening to Bruce Springsteen, because he's had so many eras. He's had the awful era and now the good era.
Well, it's more like the good era than the awful era than the second good
Yeah,
era.
you're right. All right, it's a sandwich.
And then that very brief era where he didn't play any live music for the Super Bowl. But anyway, should people buy the Bruce Springsteen's High Hopes? In conclusion,
Oh my god.
Ed Rant.
Oh yes, I think that everyone should buy this album, as well as Bruce Springsteen's previous album and another little-known album that Bruce Springsteen has released called The Seeger Sessions, where he does a bunch of Pete Seeger covers.
so you were right in the beginning that he legitimately just wants to become Pete Seeger.
Yes, he really does want to become Pete Seeger.
Like, I hopefully just not to the point where like he digs up the recently buried Pete Seeger and tries to like assimilate.
That might happen.
If he comes out like he's wearing his skin a la Silence of the Lambs.
But then he has to learn how to play the banjo. It might not pan out, but then again it might.
And then Tom Morello will just play a funky guitar solo.
Yeah. But Alex, would you recommend this to our listeners?
I think so. I think enough people. I mean, if you like the Boss's music, you're gonna like this album. I think there are definitely worse things you could spend your money on in 2014 in terms of music.
Riff Raff.
Riff Raff.
Yeah.
Did they put out an album?
Riff Raff, the rapper.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Did he put out an album?
He did put out an album.
How was that?
It's as shitty as you can possibly imagine.
Oh, okay.
So, John, you look complexed. Do you know who Riff Raff is?
I do not.
I'll bring up a picture so you can see.
Sweet.
I'll do it off camera or off mic.
Totally aside, did you watch the Grammys at all, Ryan?
I did not watch the Grammys
I
at
mean,
all.
after my long-winded Grammy post, speaking of giant pieces of accessory, you should see any clips with Pharrell, because his hats are huge. And
Yeah,
for his
his
tiny head.
His head is gigantic.
And then the really unfortunate performance of Metallica with, I think Ling Ling was his name, the Chinese pianist prodigy.
He's not a prodigy. He just plays music fast. That's all he does.
Yeah.
Riff Raff.
Oh my god.
All of his teeth are gold, and he raps like this. I like. It's really.
He just
bad.
looks like white trash.
Yeah, you
That's-
guys
that looks
know
about right.
Krayshawn, right?
Well, yeah.
Yeah. He's
Kelsey
like
is squinting awkwardly at the screen.
he's like if Eminem wasn't very good and also grew up in a trailer park and failed out of the third grade.
He had an NBA tattoo, just like the NBA logo.
Yes, he also has Bart Simpson right above his nipple.
Fairly popular as a thing.
He also has
Just so you know.
BET tattooed on his collarbone.
Jesus.
What else does he have?
I don't want to know.
He has a Portillo's
At least he has some
tattoo. What else does he have?
Is he really?
He has a Patrick Star wristband. He has. God damn.
Is he
man,
one of those people who got a lot of money for tattooing logos on him?
Probably.
Because that would make a lot of sense.
And then he decided he'd be a rapper.
Yeah.
All of those are logos.
Oh, but so anyway, I was going back. So there's the Metallica with Ling Ling performance, and it's really sad because you had these old hicks with a lot of money playing a song they can't perform anymore.
So they replaced Lou Reed with Lou Reed.
Basically. Well, and so they're like, we're doing our Lou Reed tribute, and they're like, so to do our Lou Reed tribute, we're going to have Metallica come out, not play a song from that album where Lou Reed was on it.
Because it's terrible.
But like,
Nobody wants to listen to Nuremberg Gate or whatever.
but
Are those pigtails?
Yes. No, those are curls.
My mistake.
They're
But,
cornrows for like an inch and a half.
Lars
Probably enough.
Ulrich, the drummer, literally plays one one thing the entire show. He literally goes booch, 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 the entire thing. He also has a sampling, so he doesn't do a double kick pedal anymore. He has a sampling pedal he hits with his foot that activates the double kick.
You lazy bastard! I hate you.
He's admitted that he stopped practicing since 2009. He just only does shows.
What a
He's
jerk.
like, I collected all my Napster lawsuit money. I'm doing great. Lars, you are a shitty drummer and a horrible person.
Yes, you killed Lou Reed. You're all that's wrong with this world. Metallica rock band sucked, or Guitar Hero Metallica sucked.
So the final album we reviewed was the only one John listened to, so he can be able to comment. Milwaukee-based power pop, hip hop,
I want to hate you so
dubstep group, the Lawrence
so
Arms,
Folk-based,
folk-based,
avant-garde,
folk dub folk
community.
And they live in a cottage in Green Bay.
Yes, where they collect pansies and they
Ladybug Farms.
they crochet blankets for the elderly.
They do Ed Hardy tattoos for the elderly.
And of course they sell candy out of the back of trucks. The Lawrence Arms.
They are a side project for when the rest of the band is doing the Falcon. Is that right, John? Alkaline Trio and the Falcon are their main projects, and the Lawrence Arms is the side one.
Not a word of this is true, by the way. In case you're just
I was
not
wondering.
picking up on this.
Ryan and I typically say only true things, but John caught on the one time we were fibbing.
Yeah, John, give some background into this.
Who are really the Lawrence?
Who them is?
The Clark
Very
Street
well put.
Legs.
Oh my god. The Lawrence Arms are a punk band, Chicago-based, very near and dear to my heart. They got their namesake because I believe the story was they were living in and got evicted from an apartment building called the Lawrence Arms on Lawrence Avenue in Chicago. So some of the members have gone on to be in a side project called The Falcon that wasn't entirely left field, with members from, at the time, Rise Against and Alkaline Trio. This is the first new album they've put out since Oh Calcutta, which came out a while ago. I don't know the year specifically. They had an EP
I believe
in
the
between.
year was 1969, the year the music died.
And 2014 is the year music came back. It plunged through the grave like in Kill Bill Volume 2. Uma Thurman was like, fuck this shit!
Or a
I'm a
kick-ass-
falcon or something.
Or a
And
kick-ass
arms.
Jesus.
My name is Lawrence.
Arm. I'm gonna use my Lawrence arm to punch through.
You have the right to bear Lawrence arms.
So this album is called Metropole.
Sorry, what's the name of the album?
Metropole.
As one word.
Metropole.
Oh, yes, Metropole.
John, what did you think of Uma Thurman's Power Fist?
Oh, Kill Bill's alright.
Okay.
Oh, there's only 3 people in the band.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
I
that
met
explains a lot.
one of the Brandon Kelly when he was doing a side project. He was playing in England in a tiny little club, and he did an acoustic set where people just come tell him to do Lawrence Arms songs. Like, all right, I won't play my own material. I'll just keep playing Lawrence Arms songs for you guys.
So, is he the one that sounds like shit or the one that sounds terrible?
He is the grittier of the two.
Okay, so he's the one that sounds like complete ass.
I'm guessing I know.
Did
how
you
to-
not like the Lawrence Arms Metropole?
I'll let you guys go first.
John, what did you think of
I actually...
Metropole?
I had a very high opinion of it. Lyrically is where Lawrence Arms connects with me a lot. This album, I feel, is very... The subject matter seems to overwhelmingly be like growing old, getting older in this world, and it really kind of resonated with me a lot. And you really feel that from the first few tracks. And then when you get to Drunken Tweets, it goes, oh right, it's Lawrence Arms album. We're not mature for Lawrence Arms. That having been said, I really enjoyed it. I got to put more time into it. I got to listen to it over and over again like I have everything else they put out. But that having been said, I really did enjoy it. I thought it was really solid, especially with where I am just in my life personally. Like 17er, ridiculous. Alex?
I'm not the biggest Lawrence Arms fan, to be honest. I'm always like, oh, it's okay. I know they have a huge following, especially in Illinois. You know, that the state that they're next to, because there are the Green Bay Ladybug Farmers. But I've always been like, you know, I never disliked their stuff. I'm always like, it's okay. I enjoyed this album a little bit more. It had, and I even not focusing too much on the lyrics, just musically, it had the kind of like we are a little self-aware that we're old kind of sound to it. So there's a little bit some more mellowness to their sound, a little bit more variety, I guess, because there's some slightly more mellow stuff. Nothing specifically stuck out, but nothing stuck out specifically as mind-blowing or terrible. So, which I think is okay for what they do. It's again it's a pretty short album. It's like 20-some minutes. It runs through, and you're never grossly offended. And I mean, I enjoyed it. I'm having a hard time trying to remember what any of it sounded like. But Ryan, you seem to have a different opinion of Metropole.
Hurt my feelings. Go for it.
I did not like this album at all. First off, it sounded like every other suburban mid-2000s punk album out there. It sounded exactly like Lawrence Arms from like 10 years ago. It I don't know. It's like, how long have they been together? 15, 20 years?
Probably a good 15 years.
How come they can't play more than 4 chords in a song? I assume they've had time to practice. That's my biggest beef with punk songs. Wait, are they that destitute?
I mean, they're never. I don't think these guys have ever been a big name.
Well, yeah, but
like, did they maybe did like the Warped Tour once?
Yeah, that's when I first heard of them, like with Warped Tour 2002. And I listened to their album back then, and it was pretty good. It was great because I was a teenager and I was dumb, and I loved punk music. I wasn't dumb because I loved punk music. Punk music back then was not dumb unless it was Blink-182. In that case, it was really dumb. But it was like nowadays.
You're
it's
just
like,
gonna kill John.
I know. I'm sorry, John. I'm sorry I'm hurting your feelings, but I do not like this kind of punk music because it's the same shit that they've been doing for 20 years. And the biggest problem I had with this album was the bassist fucking voice. Like, oh my god, like Bob Dylan has a shitty voice. Tom Waits has a terrible voice. But this guy, what happened to him?
It's just, he goes for the grittier sound. That's just kind of...
Is it on purpose or is it just his voice?
Well, for me, again, a lot of my enjoyment of Lawrence Arms is lyrically. So I feel that their lyrics have always been just honest, just brutal honesty, rather, and combined with the grittiness of the voice, comes across as like an experience, like a whole experience. Like they both work very well hand in hand together. So his voice has never bothered me. It's not the most pleasing to the ear. I give you that, but I've always liked it. I've always found it very endearing.
Because back in the day, his voice was fine. It's like, oh yeah, he's like, because he sounded like he was in his early 20s. Like, oh yeah, he just sounds like he's a punk singer that screams too much in concerts, and then he's fucked up for the times that he has to go to the recording studio. But now with his like very clean, like the set, it sounds very clean in this. It sounds like they rented or built their own recording studio. They had like gaffers and they had an engineer. They hired Randy Jackson to do all the work. And then it's like, oh yeah, and now we're just gonna play Lowest Covenant nominator punk music. Like, I feel like they had so many opportunities to be better than what they produced.
Without putting a lot of time in this album, I mean, I really enjoyed their previous one, Oh Calcutta. It was much more lively, much more upbeat. There wasn't really a dead moment in that album. I thought it was very, very, very good. This one musically doesn't quite hit those notes. But to me,
I get it.
Fun. But to me, it's a different time in their lives. It's a different time as everyone. This album, I feel, was made for people like myself who have been eagerly awaiting more material, had been with the band so long. So the fact that it sounds similar to other stuff isn't exactly a con, but what changes is the lyrics. I know I keep hitting this tone, but really it's over. Like, their albums don't usually have a coherent message or feel. This one really does. It's really about just how you may not be where you thought you would be at this time in your life. How you're growing older, how things are changing, yet staying the same, yet it's a weird thing. It's just really resonating with me right now, and that's why I personally really enjoyed it, and why I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing that it sounds like their other work.
Let's take a listen to before once Alex leaves.
Yes,
And then go, oh man, that song was really great.
it is. It's really good. It's
Oh wait, no, I take that back. I did not like that song. I thought that was the worst song in the album.
but it was too late.
I forgot what we were talking about. Damn it. Oh man. Yeah, I thought that was the weakest song in the album. But John and Alex, who knows what Alex thinks? He's currently he's talking to someone, his agent right now. That's right. We're getting the Riff and Rock Music Talk Conglomerate off the ground. You guys are all invited to join us, but you have to sign your
Contract, right?
Yeah, here that's a 3-year commitment at least. So let's listen to another song. What is another song that was very powerfully that stuck out? I honestly did like the song "Drunk Tweets." It was pretty good.
It did stick out, and that's the thing. Is like the first bit of the album, you're getting into the whole feel that I was kind of trying to articulate. And then Drunk Tweets happens. It grabs your attention. It jumps out at you.
I like it because of its brevity. At 1 minute
so it's
25
dreadful,
seconds.
but it's very short. Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah, like it's the same with what's an album we just reviewed? Oh man, I forgot what it's called. It was another like punk album, but the best songs on that album were the shortest. We almost listened to the entire song. It was pretty great, right, guys? Yeah, that's something that I can say was pretty great, and not regret it seconds later because I forgot what we were talking about. So to wrap this album up, I personally would not recommend it to anybody that does not like punk rock or follow the Lawrence Arms. It's something that pretty much everybody has heard thematically, like as far as music, time and time again. Stick with older Lawrence Arms, which I do like. I did like their one of their older albums. The name escapes me at the moment, but it came out around 2000.
Probably O Calcutta, the one that I really, really enjoy.
Yeah,
It has been that long since they released an album, by the way.
yeah, it was probably it probably was O Calcutta. But yeah, I recommend listening to that album. Not so much this one, unless you're brave and bold. But John, what do you think? Do you recommend it to our listeners?
I think I kind of actually feel the same way you do. Where I recommend it if you're excited about Lawrence Arms, want to hear more Lawrence Arms. It's if it's just random person off the street, I may not recommend it to him. It is very much so involved with its own message.
You have to have that connection.
I don't know if I'd say you have to, but I think I actually would though. Upon reviewing the sentence I'm currently speaking, because I think we have such a very differing opinion of it because I have that connection, you don't. So you have more of an objective view, whereas I have some more like rose-tinted lenses.
Yeah.
So I think that
Where did you
the
get these
connection
lenses?
helps. VisionWorks, actually, the V-dubs.
Okay. Yeah, that's great. Great. I assume it was a BOGO deal. Buy one, get one free?
Oh, yeah, of
Okay.
course.
Yeah.
I can't pass up savings like that. You know that.
And Alex, what do you think of his rose-tinted glasses? I'm sorry. What do you think? How would you rate the album? There we go.
I would recommend that, for 20 minutes, it could be a lot worse.
Hopefully,
Risky.
hopefully Alex can fix that in post. Or maybe I can fix it in post. Who knows? Essentially, what I'm getting at is once Alex leaves, his entire production falls to pieces. He really is the cornerstone of the entire thing, and he holds my heart very, very near and dear to my other heart. To his heart. My heart is close to his, I don't know.
The point is, they are bros. And with this album, a connection to the band or the music is a very, very big plus.
Oh,
He is risen!
or descended.
Or descend, yeah.
Whichever. All right. So what were we?
But we had a couple edit breaks, so we could go retroactively listen to a song. And then I said, "Oh, that's great," and then remembered that I did not like the song. And I said, "Oh, I hate that song." And then we had another a break for a song, and then you recommended the album, but we did a break so you can go by.
So I have a lot of editing to do.
It was great.
Oh, Metropole, absolutely.
Yeah, it's not a long album, so I think it's like worthwhile. I can tolerate. If like this album was longer, I'd say it's not worth it just because it's
We've been talking about this album longer than the album is.
I think again, since it's a short album, I can deal with it. There's some variants, but I think if people are into the Lawrence Arms, they're gonna like it. I think if they like this kind of punk music, they're gonna enjoy it. You're not gonna win new fans over, I think, is the general thought I have on this.
No, this is definitely for the pre-existing fans. It's not to broaden their audience.
And I don't think they have any intentions of doing so. So I'm okay with that. Yeah, sure, I guess. But again, if this is not your cup of tea and you're wondering should I try some new punk music, no. So I'd say I'd say buy it, but with a big asterisk of it depends. Ryan, I'm assuming your thought is no.
Yeah, not at all.
And John, it sounds like your thought was yes.
Actually, mine was more or less what you said. Like, yes, with the caveat of know what you're getting into. Like,
Right.
for a random person off the street looking to buy their like first punk album, definitely not recommend Metropole.
So okay. Ryan, though, I think has some poetry to read us to take us off air.
Yes, so I'm going to read a few random lines from an R. Kelly song. This one is from a song called Right Back from the Black Panties album. And let's see what we have.
Boom, boom. Oh, actually, before you start,
I cannot say any of these on the air.
Can I make an addendum?
Yes.
So last episode, when our winter playlist, Ryan recommended the Whisper song by the Ying Yang Twins. No, I made the mistake of mistaking the Whisper song for a different song where they whisper really vulgar things.
Oh yeah, of course. I probably should have told you that, but whatever.
And I didn't realize. I only figured there was one song where people whisper creepy sex things.
Hey, bitch. See my dick.
But I was mistaken that there are two songs where people creepily whisper sex stuff. There's one where it's "Way to See My Dick," and the other one's that "Work Them Hips, Come Girl" song.
Oh yeah.
So I apologize for my gaffe. Hey, bitch. Why do you see my dick?
All right, so I'm going to read a random line from the, so it turns out I can't read any of the lyrics from that other song on the air. I don't want to get cited by the FCC. So this one is from a song from the Black Panties album called "Every Position." I'ma show you what you're missing. Excuse my French when I get low. Baby, that's just how I kiss it. So put your legs around my neck. Get it? I can feel the what? I'm talking, baby. It ain't no need to flex. And oh, I'ma be your addiction. About to Kama Sutra you. Filling your prescription. And oh, girl, I'm on the mission. We're here in this room till we hit every position. Word jazz.
So I want to add in a real quick story that's not. It's very vaguely related. Where obviously we are recording after the Super Bowl, and Bruno Mars did his thing, and the Red Hot Chili Peppers performed, quote unquote. And I saw someone on my Facebook wall he made some comment that like it was the greatest thing ever. And the number one, the first funny statement was that Bruno Mars was the incarnation of James Brown and Michael Jackson combined.
I throw my hat.
Yeah.
I spit my drink.
And then he made a comment like that was the greatest show ever. And I, being me cynical, I went, yeah, it's really easy when you pre-record the music. And he's like, no, that wasn't pre-recorded. No way. And I'm like, well, can you explain then why the Red Hot Chili Peppers, none of their instruments were plugged in? And he goes, they're wireless hookups, obviously. And I said, there was no hookup. And then he makes some comment like, I've been playing bass for many years. I know the subtle differences between live and pre-recorded, and I know that was live.
There was nothing plugged in.
Well, and then Flea released a statement going, we didn't play live. Nothing was plugged in. And when Chad Smith was playing the drums, he was just hitting shit. There was not even a conscious effort to match it up. And that's really the end of the statement. So then I left that article on his Facebook page just to let him know that he's an idiot. And he never got back to me, oddly enough.
Hey, you guys.
What a terrible story, Alex. You made an enemy at the end. I'm just kidding. That was a pretty good story. So next time we record, Alex, you have to tell us what happens.
If anything else happens from it, I will.
Can you try to start a Twitter war with this guy?
Just like you started one with Drake?
Yes, and one with Drake. Because I now have Macklemore on my side. I have the Rolling Stones on my side. I have, who else? Kendrick Lamar on my side.
That country singer that liked one of our tweets.
He's an R&B singer.
Sorry,
Whatever his
just
name
kidding.
is, George whatever or something.
You
know who you are. Shout out to
totally-
whatever your name is. Bobby, Jim, or yeah.
What does Anthony Fantano from the Needle Drop liked one of our tweets?
Yes.
And he's a much more respected music reviewer.
Yes, he is. So you heard it here first. We're gonna be famous.
Anthony Fantano, if you're listening to this, come on our show. We'll treat you okay.
And then we'll hashtag a thing.
I might order you a Jimmy John's to your house. Ooh. Hope you like the tuna, because that's the only sandwich I'm ordering you is the tuna.